Hey, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be talking about the future of websites and the fact that your website is going away to a certain extent, and how you as a remodeler can win when AI search becomes the homeowner's actual decision engine. My name's Carl Willis. I'm the CEO and founder at Remodeling Marketing Team, and I'm glad you've chosen to join us today. And as always, it's a pleasure having you with us. So, with that, let's go ahead and dive into our topic today because the way homeowners find, evaluate, and choose remodeling contractors is changing faster than most businesses realize. For years, the goal was really simple. It was to get found on Google, get the click, send the prospect to your website, convert that visitor into a lead. And what you need to realize is that model is being disrupted. Google is rapidly shifting from a traditional search engine, as you know it, into an AI driven recommendation and action platform. Instead of simply giving homeowners a list of websites to visit, AI increasingly researches options, compares providers, answers follow up questions, and may ultimately help that consumer take action without ever visiting a traditional website. So the website is not necessarily disappearing, but its job is fundamentally changing. And so today I'm going to show remodeling company owners what that really means for your business, what matters now, and what you should begin building before the rest of your market catches up to you. So, the question I want to pose to you is what if the next customer never actually visits your website? Not because they chose another contractor, but because an AI agent already researched your company, evaluated your expertise, compared you against competitors, answered the homeowner's questions, and recommended who they should contact. You see, this isn't science fiction anymore. It's actually the direction that search is moving. You see, for the last 20 plus years, digital marketing revolved around earning the click. But the next era revolves around earning the recommendation. And that requires a very different marketing strategy. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The old customer journey being built around the click looked a lot different. It was a search that led to blue links, that led to a website, that led to research, that led to a contact form, and then maybe a phone call. And so in the old model, it depended heavily on getting that homeowner onto a property you controlled, generally a website. SEO was primarily designed to earn rankings, and paid search was designed to earn clicks. Your website was designed to capture and convert those clicks. And that model, although it is not completely dead, it is no longer the only journey that buyers are taking anymore. And so, what you've got to understand is there are other ways that that homeowner is finding you today. There are other ways that they are making their decisions today. And that's really what we've got to get our mind around. What's happening now is the new journey is becoming more conversational and it is becoming more agentic. And we're going to talk about that word agentic more and more as we go along this afternoon. The new journey looks like this. It's a movement from keywords to questions to conversations to recommendations and to actions. Because homeowners are becoming comfortable asking questions such as, what should I expect to spend remodeling a kitchen in my area? Or which remodeling companies specialize in older homes? Or which contractors have experience with projects that are similar to mine? Or what should I look for before hiring a bathroom remodeler? Or which company is most likely to be a good fit for my particular type of project? See, traditional search breaks these questions into multiple searches, but AI can evaluate the entire problem. And the consumer doesn't necessarily want to look at 10 websites. They want an answer. And eventually, they may want the AI to take the next action for them. And that's where this term agentic comes in. You see, AI is becoming the homeowner's decision engine. And that's the real shift that I want you to really start to understand here. Because an AI agent doesn't simply retrieve information, it can research, compare, summarize, recommend, schedule, communicate, and potentially transact. And so I want to give you an example that I used recently on a podcast that we did together with my friend Phil Risher from Flash Consulting. And the example we were discussing was, find a reputable kitchen remodeling company near me that works on older homes, has strong reviews, and can meet next Thursday afternoon. And so the AI agent would go out and research providers, compare trust signals, answer follow-up questions, and then recommend the next step. And so instead of visiting 5 contractor websites, the AI system may increasingly do much of that work on behalf of you, the homeowner, evaluating all of those things. And so the question I want to ask you, the listener today, you, the viewer of this webinar, is, if an AI agent were researching your company today, would it have enough information to confidently recommend you? See, that's the question that you, as a remodeling contractor, as a company owner, need to begin asking. Are you putting enough information out there that that AI agent can answer that question on behalf of the owner, the homeowner who is doing the searching and asking that type of question? Your website is actually becoming a data layer. In recent interviews, Google CEO has been talking very extensively about this topic, that websites and even Google business profiles are becoming data layers for AI agents. And what Google is really shifting search to is an AI agent management system. And so your website is becoming a layer that informs that AI agent. And so you need to avoid this understanding that it's only people who are coming to your website. And I don't want you to come away from this webinar thinking that you just need to totally abandon your website. That's not the thought that I want to leave you with, because your website is still critical. but its role is changing dynamically. Your website needs to clearly explain services. It needs to establish credibility. It needs to demonstrate expertise. It needs to answer homeowner questions. It needs to display projects and proof. And it needs to make contacting your business simple. Provide structured information that AI systems can understand easily. But you've got to stop treating your website as your entire digital strategy because your website is part of the decision journey, but it is not the entire decision journey. And increasingly, the visitor that is accessing the information may effectively be an AI system acting on behalf of the homeowner. You see, the old way of thinking was how do I get people to my website? But the new way of thinking is how do I make the internet understand and trust my business? Because again, the website still matters, but its job is changing from digital brochure to authoritative source material. It has to explain who you serve, what you do, why you are credible, and how to take the next step. Now, as AI reads your website, it's not just looking at the homepage, but it's looking at your entire footprint. And that's why I said your website is only part of the journey. So when we talk about how AI looks at you, it's not just looking at your website, it is looking at your entire business. And I want to go back to the term we used a moment ago, data layers. And so let's describe what data layers really are. AI is reading the whole footprint, all of your data layers. And your data layers are going to include your website, your Google business profile, your YouTube channel, your reviews, your articles and blog posts, your local mentions, your projects, your social media. All of those are data layers or signals that the agent is going to use to answer questions. So you need to be thinking about what data layers have you deployed around your business, where I like to also use the word signals. What signals are you deploying around your business? And so consistency across the ecosystem will give the AI systems clearer evidence of your authority as a business and your trustworthiness as a business. You see, content has a new job for you, and that is building a knowledge catalog. And that's another term I really want you to kind of get your mind around here. The knowledge catalog. And that knowledge catalog is going to include customer questions, project lessons, your pricing philosophy, process explanations, and proof and trust. So you're not just creating content for likes, you're creating source material that teaches AI exactly who you are. You see, for years, contractors have heard you need to create content, and many have responded, why? Nobody is hiring a remodeling contractor because of a Facebook post. Well, that objection actually misses the new purpose of content because you're not creating content to generate likes. You're creating content to establish a knowledge catalog about your company and your expertise. And that's a strategic shift. because the content is going to help AI understand what you know, what you specialize in, what markets you serve, how you solve problems, what makes you different, what questions you can answer, and whether you appear credible enough to actually recommend to the homeowner who is making that search. And when you're creating that content, start with the questions that homeowners are already asking. This is one of the most actionable things you can do. And this is really the starting point. So, as we're talking today, if you were to ask me, where should I begin? This really is the starting point because your customers are already writing your content strategy. So, don't begin with keywords, begin with conversations. Ask yourself, what questions are homeowners already asking on a regular basis? Here are some potential questions. How much should a kitchen remodel cost? Why are two remodeling estimates so different? How long does a whole home renovation normally take? Can we live in the house during construction? What happens when you discover hidden damage? How does the change order process work? What type of warranty should a contractor provide? Should we move walls or redesign within the existing footprint? How much contingency should we budget? When should we start talking to a remodeler? You see, these are not manufactured topics just for SEO. These are buying questions. These are the types of questions that homeowners are asking to make decisions. And you can pull this type of content, these ideas, from phone calls, from actual sales consultations, from estimating appointments, from emails, from text messages, from customer service questions, from reviews, from questions that your production team is repeatedly getting asked. You see, your customers are already writing your content strategy for you. You just need to take note of what they're asking. I want you to also take note of this. Commodity content will lose. And let me explain what I mean by this. There's a term in the marketing world called AI slop. And AI slop doesn't build authority. And let me explain what AI slop is. AI slop is when you just sit down to chat GPT and say, hey, write me a remodeling article. Commodity content is this kind of stuff. 7 reasons to remodel your kitchen this summer. Anyone can say it. AI can generate endless versions of it. There's nothing unique about it. There's nothing authoritative about it. It does not communicate anything with topical authority or anything about you or your business. There's very little reason for an AI platform to associate that information specifically with you or your expertise. Now, here is what non-commodity content will incorporate. It will bring your experience, your projects, your process, your opinions, your observations, your pricing philosophy, your local market, your customers' actual questions, problems you've personally encountered and solved into the mix. So instead of 5 tips for choosing a kitchen remodeler, it's going to be something more along the lines of why the lowest kitchen remodeling estimate often becomes the most expensive project. And then it will go on to explain what you've actually seen happen, because that's what expertise looks like. It's rooted in your experience, your process, and your market. And the more specific your expertise, the more useful your content will become. AI is at the core an amplifier. It will amplify your expertise, not invent it. We want to take your customer question. We want to bake in your expertise, creating original source material, using that AI assistance to amplify it, and then create multiple content assets. What we don't want to do is then take AI, create a generic article, and publish it. That's a bad workflow. What you want to do is use AI to help organize, edit, repurpose, and distribute your expertise. But don't ask AI to manufacture expertise that you have not supplied. Use AI to amplify your expertise and then to multiply that expertise, to expand the reach. Become a content machine without becoming a media company. 2 or 3 pieces of content a week is really a good cadence. It's a minimum viable cadence. You don't need to create an elaborate production. You don't need to have a studio. Just pull out your phone on a job site and answer the question you were just asked, because real beats polished any day when trust is the issue. Just pull out the phone and say, a homeowner just asked me this question. Today's smartphones have great cameras, they have great quality. All you've got to do is answer the question. A quick 1 or 2 minute video is going to be perfect, and authenticity beats polish any day of the week. Here's another key for you. Capture once and repurpose everywhere, because one answer can become an entire ecosystem. So start with one 3 to 5 minute video answering a homeowner question, and then turn that into a YouTube video, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reel, a Facebook video, a LinkedIn post, a blog article, a Google Business Profile post, an email, an FAQ, a sales follow-up asset. And here's the thing, don't continually create content from zero. Repurpose things you've already created. What you're doing is you're creating this massive content machine. Because the goal here is not more complexity, it's getting more mileage from what you already know. So capture once and repurpose everywhere. You see, that principle has been our long-standing marketing ecosystem strategy here at Remodeling Marketing Team. Repeated exposure across multiple channels will always reinforce your expertise, your authority, and your trust. And remember, people love to do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And it really creates an omnipresence. It makes you inescapable. And trust is becoming the real search algorithm. The new question isn't, can you rank? It's whether or not you can be recommended. Because AI platforms have to decide which information and which businesses they trust enough to recommend. And that makes your digital reputation increasingly important. Some of the relevant signals include consistent business information, reviews, specific expertise, strong project examples, video, helpful educational content, authoritative mentions, demonstrated experience, clear service information, consistent messaging across platforms. Now, let me ask you this. If Google, ChatGPT, Gemini, or another AI system had to explain why should I hire your remodeling company instead of the other five in town, could it effectively answer that question? If not, you have work to do. It just simply means you don't have enough source material for the AI to effectively answer that question for the homeowner. The scoreboard has to change because what we're seeing happening right now is that traffic is actually falling. Traffic to individual websites, traffic to Google business profiles is falling, even though influence is growing. And that's why the ecosystem is so important. Your authority has to exist in more than one location because the old scoreboard was rankings, sessions, and clicks. But the new visibility signals are share of voice and mention rate. And so your authority has to exist in more than one location. You've got to create a consistent footprint across the internet. That means it's got to be your website, Google, YouTube, social media, your reviews, your articles, your community involvement, third-party mentions. The more consistent those signals become, the easier it is for platforms and homeowners to understand your business. So, share of voice is how often you appear around the questions buyers are asking. And mention rate is how often your company is named or recommended when those questions get asked. And advertising is also changing. It's not just search engine rankings or how search is done, but advertising is changing too. Because the platforms are taking more control over targeting and optimization, and that makes your inputs more important. What's really happening is that the creative is replacing the keyword obsession. And just like AI is really shifting organic search, it's shifting paid search as well. So traditionally, what we've obsessed over is keywords, bids, match types, and landing pages. And those mechanics aren't irrelevant, but advertising platforms are increasingly using AI to handle targeting and optimization. And so what that does is it puts greater strategic weight on the inputs that you are providing, especially video, images, customer questions, offers, messaging, differentiation, and proof. And let me stress this to you. Creative becomes a performance lever, not decoration. And so it is the quality of the creative that really is the main driver of performance. And so if every remodeling company feeds the advertising platform the same generic material, the business with the stronger creative and stronger proprietary knowledge has the advantage. Google's own statement in their rollout this summer of their new technologies said the best performing ads moving forward will be those that answer consumer questions. So it is the strength of the creative and proprietary knowledge answering questions that will create the strongest ads. Now, I want to give you a 90-day AI search action plan that you can take with you today and begin implementing, because I want this to be a working workshop webinar for you. I want you to have something you can hit the ground running with today. So let's take a look at what you need to be doing over the next 90 days. First one, step one is capture 25 real questions. So have your team record every meaningful homeowner question for the next 30 days. Start with your sales calls and pull the questions from those, because those conversations are a gold mine. Step two is answer the best questions on video. So select your highest value questions and record short, direct answers. You don't need a studio. Take your smartphone, flip it around, say, here's a question we recently got, and record the answer. Talk like you would to a homeowner if you were seated across the kitchen table or standing there at the kitchen island with them. Step three, you want to repurpose those assets. So turn every answer into multiple assets. Build a content flywheel out of it. So take the question, record the video, then take the transcript and make an article, make social media posts, make an FAQ out of it, and then make an email with it. So don't create more work, but get more mileage from the work that you are already doing. And then step four, audit your data layers. Look at your reviews, look at your website, your Google business profile, your YouTube channel, review your social profiles, your review sites, your business directories, your industry profiles, and then make sure that the information is accurate, complete, consistent, and useful on each of those properties, each of those data layers. Your fifth step, make every major platform conversion friendly and conversion ready. If the homeowner never goes to your website, can they still take the next step? So make sure that on every one of those platforms, they can easily call you, they can easily message you, they can request information, they can schedule with you, they can find service information, and they can do that wherever it is they encounter you. And then step six, start monitoring your AI visibility. Regularly test the questions that your homeowners are likely asking. Look for whether your company appears, whether other competitors are appearing, and which competitors those are. What sources are being cited, where information about your business is missing, what topics competitors appear stronger on, and then use those gaps to determine what content should come next. Now start small, build the habit, and then compound the authority. Recognize this. There is a competitive land grab taking place right now. And the truth is, most remodeling companies are still playing yesterday's game. They are still chasing rankings. They are still rebuilding websites. They're still buying clicks. They're still posting generic content. And they are still measuring success primarily by traffic counts. Meanwhile, search is moving in a different direction. It is moving towards questions, conversations, recommendations, and actions. And for you, there is a window right now for remodeling company owners to establish authority before competitors understand what is actually taking place. And so there are three things that I want you to remember. Number one, your website isn't dead, but its job is fundamentally changing. Treat it as an authoritative data layer and conversion asset. It is not your entire marketing strategy. Number two, build a knowledge catalog before you need one. Your real world expertise needs to exist digitally so AI systems can discover and understand it. And number three, stop chasing the click. Start earning the recommendation. The companies that AI trusts enough to recommend will have a significant advantage in the next generation of search. If AI had to choose a remodeling company in your market tomorrow, what information exists online today that would convince it to choose yours? If that answer makes you uncomfortable, then that's the opportunity. See, you don't need to rebuild your entire marketing operation this week, but you need to start with one customer question. Answer it, publish it, repurpose it, then do it again next week. That's how you begin building the knowledge catalog and authority your business is going to need. I want to take a few moments and open it up for Q&A. If you've got any questions, go ahead and put those into the chat, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. Doesn't look like we have any questions today, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up. If you would like us to schedule an AI search and authority audit with you, you can do that at remodelingmarketingteam.com/get-started, or you can call us at 888-350-7859, and we look forward to doing that audit with you. As always, thank you for tuning in to this month's webinar. We'll be doing our next webinar same time next month, and look forward to talking you through some of the latest changes in the online marketing world. It is evolving rapidly. And again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Have a great day.